Houston, Texas. A city of 2.3 million people. The fourth largest city in America. A place that calls itself the land of opportunity, where skyscrapers rise faster than anywhere else in the South, where oil money built glass towers that touch the sky, and where the promise of the American dream feels almost close enough to touch. But right now, on the same streets where those towers cast their shadows, more than 7,600 people have no home to return to, no door to close, no wall between them and the heat. And in Houston, the heat does not forgive. Stay with this story until the very end. Because what is happening on these streets right now, in one of America's richest and fastest growing cities, is something the headlines are not telling you. Section 1. The scale of the crisis. According to the 2025 Houston/Harris County point-in-time count, 7,614 people were experiencing homelessness on a single January night. Of those, more than 3,900, over half, were completely unsheltered, sleeping outside. In a city where summer temperatures regularly reach 105 degrees Fahrenheit and the air itself feels like a furnace. These are not just numbers. They are people who once had addresses, phone numbers, routines, people who made coffee in the morning, drove to work, put their children to bed at night. Now they wake up on concrete that has already begun absorbing heat before sunrise. Houston's homelessness crisis does not look like Philadelphia's. It does not look like Los Angeles. There are no famous streets with names the whole country knows. The crisis here is spread out, hidden beneath highway overpasses, scattered along bayou banks, tucked into the shadows between booming construction sites. It is invisible by design. And that invisibility is exactly what makes it so dangerous. For the people living on these streets, there is no escaping what is coming. Every morning between May and September brings a new test of survival. Temperatures above 100 degrees. No shelter with open doors. No shade that lasts long enough to matter. According to the Harris County Public Health Department, heat-related illness and death among Houston's unhoused population reached a 5-year high in 2025, with at least 47 confirmed deaths directly linked to extreme heat exposure. 47 people in 1 year, in one city, whose names most of us will never know. What would it take for any of us to truly see them? Section 2. Lives pushed to the edge. Before a person ends up beneath a Houston overpass, there is almost always a story that begins somewhere ordinary. A job, an apartment, a family. And then, slowly, a series of cracks that the system was never designed to repair. Houston was once celebrated as a national model for solving homelessness. Between 2011 and 2022, the city reduced its homeless population by nearly 63% through a housing-first approach, getting people into stable housing quickly without preconditions. National headlines praised it. Policy experts studied it. Then the pandemic arrived. And then inflation. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Houston rose 31% between 2020 and 2025. Meanwhile, wages for the city's lowest income workers grew by just 9%. That gap, that quiet widening space between what people earn and what a roof costs, pushed thousands of people over an edge they had spent years trying to avoid. Many of the people now sleeping along Buffalo Bayou and beneath the I-10 overpass had jobs 6 months ago. Some still have jobs, working full-time at warehouses, at fast food restaurants, at the construction sites that are building the very city that has no room for them. One setback, one medical bill, one landlord who raised the rent, and everything unravels faster than anyone expects. In Houston, there is no safety net wide enough to catch everyone who falls. Section 3. What the heat actually does. Most people have never thought about what extreme heat does to a body with no shelter. At 100 degrees, the human body begins working harder than it was designed to. The heart pumps faster. Sweat pours out faster than it can be replaced. Without water, and in Houston's unhoused encampments, clean water is never guaranteed, dehydration sets in within hours. By 105 degrees, the body starts to lose its ability to regulate its own temperature. Heat exhaustion arrives quietly. Confusion, weakness, a strange heaviness in the limbs. Some people sit down to rest and do not get back up. Heat stroke, the stage beyond that, kills within minutes if untreated. For people sleeping outside in Houston, this is not a rare emergency. It is the ordinary background of every single summer day. Dr. Kira Whitfield, an emergency medicine physician at Houston Methodist Hospital, described in a 2025 public health report what her team sees every summer. People brought in by ambulance with core body temperatures above 104 degrees. Confused, unable to speak, organs already under severe stress. Many arrive too late. And unlike a winter city where cold can be escaped by moving indoors, Houston's heat follows you. It radiates from the concrete at night. It builds inside tents until they become ovens. It does not stop when the sun goes down. The city has placed cooling centers across Houston, but outreach workers report that many unsheltered individuals cannot reach them. Too far away, too exhausted, or too afraid to enter buildings where they fear being turned away or reported. The heat here does not discriminate, but it does find the most vulnerable first. Section 4. Fentanyl and the drug crisis. Behind the heat, there is another crisis running through Houston streets. One that is harder to see, but impossible to ignore once you know it is there. According to the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences, fentanyl-related overdose deaths in Harris County reached 512 in 2025. A record. More than one death per day. And a disproportionate number of those deaths occurred among people experiencing homelessness. On the streets, fentanyl is cheap, cheaper than food some days. And in a life defined by pain, physical pain from sleeping on hard surfaces, emotional pain from losing everything, psychological pain from trauma that never gets treated, something that promises even temporary relief becomes nearly impossible to refuse. Outreach workers in Houston describe what they see as a perfect storm. Extreme physical suffering from heat and illness. No mental health services available on the streets. A drug supply that is more potent and more deadly than anything seen a decade ago. And a population with no safe place to recover. No stable roof under which healing could even begin. The body that is already weakened by heat is far more vulnerable to overdose. The mind, already fractured by trauma, is far less able to resist the pull of something that numbs the pain for a few hours. Many of the people outreach teams encounter on Houston streets did not come here because of drugs. They came because of eviction, because of a divorce, because of a job lost. But the streets of Houston, like streets in every American city touched by fentanyl, have a way of pulling people into something they never intended. And once inside that cycle, with no safe room, no consistent support, no quiet place to think clearly, getting out becomes one of the hardest things a human being can attempt. Section 5. Mental health, the invisible wound. There is a wound that does not show up on the body, but destroys a person just as completely. It lives in the mind. It is the accumulation of everything that has been lost. the home that is gone, the children who stopped calling, the job that disappeared, the dignity that the streets take from a person slowly, piece by piece, until they can barely remember who they were before. According to the 2025 Houston Homeless Coalition report, approximately 30% of Houston's unhoused population is living with a serious mental illness. And the streets do not treat mental illness, they worsen it. Imagine trying to manage severe depression when every morning begins with the question of where to find water. Imagine living with PTSD when there is no quiet, no safety, no moment of genuine rest. Imagine hearing voices, real voices, the kind that belong to schizophrenia, and having no medication because your prescription was lost when your belongings were swept during the last encampment clearance. This is not hypothetical. This is the daily experience of thousands of people living in Houston right now. The city has mental health resources, but they are built for people with addresses, phone numbers, and the ability to attend scheduled appointments. They are not built for people whose entire lives are spent in survival mode. And so, the gap widens. The suffering deepens. And on the streets beneath Houston's freeways, people carry invisible wounds that the city does not see and the healthcare system cannot reach. Section 6. Government Promises versus Street Reality. Houston has a plan. The city's 2025 to 2028 Strategic Homeless Plan commits to reducing unsheltered homelessness by 50% over 3 years. The plan includes expanded shelter capacity, increased mental health outreach teams, additional housing navigation workers, and a renewed commitment to the Housing First approach that once made Houston a national model. The Houston-Harris County Continuum of Care has secured nearly $48 million in federal funding for homeless services in the current fiscal year. New supportive housing developments are in various stages of approval and construction across the county. These are real commitments, real dollars, real plans on paper. But walk through the encampments beneath the I-10 overpass on a Tuesday afternoon, and you will hear a different story. You will hear about the shelter that turned people away because it was full, about the housing application that required documents lost during the last sweep, about the outreach worker who came once and never returned, about the waiting list that stretches months into a future that feels impossible to reach. For the people living on these streets, the distance between a government announcement and a safe place to sleep is not measured in policy language. It is measured in nights, in sweating through another darkness without walls, in watching another summer arrive and knowing that the city's plans will not keep you cool enough to survive it. Progress is real, but it is slow, and the streets do not wait for progress to catch up. Section 7. The human stories the statistics don't tell. Behind every number in Houston's homeless count is a name, a history, a life that was once ordinary in ways most of us take completely for granted. There is the 58-year-old construction worker who spent 30 years building Houston's skyline. He lost his apartment after a back injury made it impossible to work. His savings lasted 4 months. His family lived in another state and could not take him in. He has been sleeping near the Buffalo Bayou for 8 months. He still wears his work boots every day because he says they are the only thing that reminds him of who he used to be. There is the mother who fled domestic violence with her 2 children, drove to Houston with $200 and a car that broke down a week after she arrived. The shelter had no family beds available. She spent 3 weeks sleeping in parking lots before a nonprofit found her an emergency placement. Her children missed 2 months of school. She carries that guilt like a physical weight. There is the 24-year-old who aged out of the foster care system at 18 with no family, no savings, and no support network. He has been intermittently homeless for 6 years. he has tried to get off the streets 4 times. Each time, a single setback, a lost job, a mental health episode, an eviction sent him back. These are not stories of failure. They are stories of a system that was never designed to catch the people who fall through its cracks. And they are stories of extraordinary endurance, of people who keep trying in conditions that would break most of us within days. Section 8. Those who show up anyway. In every city where the official systems fall short, there are people who simply decide to show up anyway. In Houston, that means the Star of Hope mission, which provides more than 1,000 meals every single day and has expanded its emergency shelter capacity in response to the growing crisis. It means the Temenos CDC, working to develop affordable housing in some of the city's most underserved neighborhoods. It means the Coalition for the Homeless of Houston/Harris County, coordinating outreach across dozens of partner organizations. And it means the volunteers, hundreds of them, who wake up on Saturday mornings and drive to encampments with water, food, clean socks, and something more powerful than any resource: the willingness to look a person in the eyes and say, "I see you, you matter. You are not invisible." In 105-degree heat, a cold bottle of water handed to someone with genuine kindness is not a small thing. It is the difference between a person feeling human and a person feeling discarded. These acts of compassion do not solve the structural crisis. They do not replace affordable housing or accessible mental health care or a living wage. But they keep people alive long enough for solutions to reach them. And sometimes they are the thing that makes someone believe, for one more day, that it is worth holding on. Section 9. What real solutions look like. There is evidence, real documented evidence, that this crisis can be reduced. Houston proved it once before. The Housing First model, which places people in stable housing without requiring sobriety or employment as preconditions, has the strongest research base of any homelessness intervention. When people have a safe, stable place to live, every other area of their life becomes more treatable. Mental health stabilizes, addiction becomes easier to address, employment becomes possible, health improves. The Avenue 360 Health and Wellness Organization in Houston has integrated physical health care, mental health services, and housing navigation into a single coordinated system, and their outcomes show what becomes possible when the whole person is treated, not just the symptom. New supportive housing developments in the 3rd Ward and East End are being designed with this integrated model in mind. Not just a roof, but a community. Not just shelter, but support. The question is not whether these solutions work. The question is whether the city will fund them fast enough and scale them large enough to meet the scale of the need. Because right now, the waiting lists are long. The summer is arriving, and every day that passes without a solution is another day on concrete that reaches 120 degrees by noon. Section 10. Call to Action and Reflection. As the sun sets over Houston tonight, 2 cities will exist in the same space. One city will turn on its lights. Restaurants will fill. Air conditioning will hum in 1 million apartments. People will close their doors and feel, without even thinking about it, the quiet luxury of safety. And in the shadows of that same city, thousands of people will begin the work of surviving another night. Checking the heat, finding water, watching over their belongings, trying to sleep in air that never quite cools down. These are not strangers from somewhere else. They are Houstonians. They built this city with their labor. They raised families here. They paid taxes here. And they are being left behind in a city that is booming loud enough to drown out the sound of people falling. The most powerful thing about homelessness is also the most unsettling. The distance between a stable life and a life on the streets is shorter than any of us want to believe. One health crisis, one relationship ending, 1 month of rent too many. The line is thin, and it can be crossed by anyone. Knowing that does not have to make us afraid. It can make us compassionate instead. The people living on Houston streets do not need pity. They need presence, policy, and the persistent belief from their neighbors, their city, and their country that their lives are worth fighting for. Every story we tell at a channel like this exists for one reason, not to make you feel hopeless, but to make sure you cannot look away. Because awareness is where action begins, and action is the only thing that changes anything. What is one thing you can do today, not someday, today, to make the invisible visible in your own city? Leave your answer below. Share this story and stay with us, because the stories of those surviving on these streets deserve to be heard as long as people are still sleeping outside. As this journey through Houston streets comes to a close, the truth that remains is simple and heavy and impossible to ignore. In one of America's great cities, a city of wealth, of growth, of unshakable confidence in its own future, thousands of people will wake up tomorrow with nothing between them and the heat but whatever they manage to hold on to through the night. They are not invisible. They are not gone. They are here, on the same streets where Houston is building its future, asking a question the city has not yet fully answered. Does this boom belong to all of us, or only to some? The answer to that question will say more about who we are as a society than any skyline ever could. To every person experiencing homelessness in Houston tonight, you are not forgotten. Your story is part of this city's story. And you deserve, not someday, not eventually, but right now, a safe place to rest. Thank you for staying until the end. Please like this video, share it, subscribe to this channel, because these voices deserve to be heard, and together we can make sure they are.